Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mobafire Challenger Series. And after a little bit of an extended game number 2, we're ready to roll pretty much here for game number 3. Coming up next is going to be Wazabi Gaming up against Team Tempest. And with me today, the League of Studio. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Jester? How's your day been treating you?
Well, the pause was a little long, but other than that, we've seen some great action from some of these great teams, and I'm just really excited to see what else the Challenger tier has in store for us.
You never know with the challengers too, because if you look at Team Wazabi, if you look at Team Tempest, there's some old names on both those teams. You've got X-Hazard. X-Hazard subbed for CLG at MLG Anaheim 2012, over a year ago, and they took second place at tournament when everybody thought they were just gonna get annihilated. At the same time, he tried to qualify for LCS back in January. Prophet, on the other hand, on the other team, is actually in the other position where he recently tried to make it for the LCS, but could not quite make it. So these were two LCS-bound players almost there at the doorsteps to make it into the big tourney, and they just could not make it in, and here they are, back in the challenger scene.
Now, I'm also looking at, Devasion is definitely a name I know, X-Hazard, Anxiety, LOL, and, just building upon some of these other teams, like, I used to cast Glorified quite a bit in Alienware, so again, like, just seeing these names that we see again and again, it's good to see them getting up into these top tiers and getting into some of these terms, because they could walk home with $10,000, so it's always fun to see. That being said, game has started. Who do we got here on the bans board?
Let's see, looking at Zed going out of the mix, Twisted Fate as well. Lulu and Lissandra, the double Ls, not going to be making it into this game. And Zed, of course, that stressful melee assassin. He's safe in lane. He's almost guaranteed to get to that insta-kill carry potential, at least in the mid-game. And it's a hard threat to really work through. Twisted Fate, that devastating ramp roamer. You have to play so cautiously, so passively. And a lot of these teams, they do have, I'd say, less consistent experience. Like if you're playing ranked 5s, you don't know who you're going up against, who's one of the more general bans, you toss out Twisted Fate because that nerd will just wreck your team. And Lulu and Lissandra, both just devastating characters. They really control the game, Lissandra with her gank potential and Lulu with her massive utility. Jayce is left open though, and first pick going to be coming out from iDream.
Yeah, the Twisted Fate and the Nunu, again, yeah, that global play just so really annoying. You gotta keep it in the back of your head. Is he gonna come get me? Every 2 minutes that Destiny comes up, is it gonna be, that 4v3, that 5-on-4? What do you think of the Nunu though? I mean, the Nunu has become extremely potent with 3.8, but now he's kind of just being banned out, and every time I do see him in a game, he just doesn't do that well.
He has a syndrome of like Shen's in solo queue. So Shen in solo queue, he probably doesn't get to play Shen a lot because of how often he was banned out. And then you see him pop up, he may not be that good with his ultimate, and Nunu's kind of the same deal. Teams don't get to practice with him because every single scrim, he just gets banned out immediately. But if you do get good with the Nunu, if you do like organize with the team beforehand, let's practice these Nunu strats in case that sucker does slip in, well, he's just such a good counter jungler and can just walk up, consume, ruin your day, and make you feel bad.
Yeah, making you feel bad, definitely something in League of Legends that can happen when you do finally get that Nunu into game. But I think that people have started really learning to get around that. The picks, however, Jayce going to be there. iDream picks that up, no problem. But Draven for nerf. I like watching Draven now. Like, he took a while to kind of get rolling, but I mean, even double lift now is like all about the Draven.
He is a lane monster. I love Draven because for a while it was like, who plays Draven? Oh, just the aggressive guys, just the guys who want to win lane, don't care about anything else. But people have discovered his late game is really good. He has an attack speed steroid. He has extra auto attacks with his spinning axes. Like, his late game is perfectly fine. You just have to have a team that can keep him alive, and that's the scary part. Because, someone like Vayne, she has tumble, she has a disengage. Someone like Draven has stand aside, and that's it. You can move fast, but someone like Malphite's on your butt, guess what? You're slowed, you have bad attack speed, you have to somehow protect him. And that's the scary part about the Draven pick. Not the damage output, but keeping him alive.
I actually, last week, I think it was last week, was actually free week Draven, so I got to play around a lot with him, and it's very, very enjoyable. But then again, free week, a lot of people don't quite know how to use him quite yet, thinking maybe they're going to be the next double lift. I don't think that's going to be the case here for Nerf. He probably knows what he wants to do. I think we had a Draven ban in game number 1 even, but the counter here, Caitlyn, third Caitlyn today for ADC, and actually third Thresh as well.
I mean, Thresh. Like, the second Thresh got released, there was like that 4-hour period where people were like, he's a bad support. What's he do? doesn't have like a heal. He doesn't have a shield that's, easily usable every 10 seconds. No, it's Thresh. He will devastate any game if he lands just those sweet death sentences. And Caitlyn is like that wishy-washy character that you never know how she's going to be. Like, is she going to be overpowered, underpowered? But you can always rely on her. And that's the cool thing about Caitlyn, just the constant range, the constant reliability, the fact that you put her in lane, she should survive. Mid-game, she should be relatively safe with her range, and she does have a disengage. She doesn't have massive late-game DPS anymore, but she still has 650 range, so it's hard to really compete with someone like that. Like, Caitlyn is the exact opposite of Draven. Toss her anywhere, she should be pretty okay, as okay as an 80 carry can be with low protection. And if you look at the team, they have a lot of kite potential right now with Jayce and Thresh. They could actually get a really good disengaged team going on with his comp.
Yeah, you cannot disregard those acceleration gates coming out of Jayce. But at the same time, we're saying disengage. We got the box, we got the Jayce, but we got a Jarvan. Jarvan with the Cataclysm getting in there. If you do not have an ability to hop over that wall, you got to burn the flash. If the flash is down, then you just got to turn and fight. But a Jarvan coupled with a slicing Maelstrom Tempest, coming out from X Hazard on that Kennen, that could lead into some really big damage numbers.
Oh, this team's getting a little bit nasty as Wazabi. All right, so if the Nasus pick goes through, all right, this team is awesome now. Like, before I'm thinking fight, now this is a siege team. So you put up Nasus, Jayce, Caitlyn in a lane to help push, Thresh as well, then Shen split pushes. What do you have to deal with on the enemy team? You have to deal with Jayce pokes coming out, the acceleration gate, shock blast combos. You have to deal with Caitlyn's Q pecking at you. Caitlyn can also get in free auto attacks. She can get free turret auto attacks. She can really chunk those suckers down. And if they do ever try and fight, if they do actually even stand by the tower and they get hit by a Jayce Q, they're going to be standing on Spirit Fire as well. And that's just going to amplify all the damage that's going to be coming out of Wazabi. And that's a really cool comp, because at the same time, you have that guaranteed pressure coming out from Shen. They have to defend against a split push. They also have to defend against a really cool offensive push. If they can play this really aggressive really quickly, this is just a nice, solid push team. And it's cool to see those come in action.
Well, assuming that we can actually execute it correctly, as you said, a lot of big numbers coming out of that one. I'm looking at this last pickup, however, from Tempest, Oriana. And then that happens. But Oriana to go with, Shen was Ahri. So I was going to say they probably did a placeholder. Shen, apparently Ahri. So unfortunately, no Shen for you. I apologize. But Oriana throwing the ball on top of Jarvan, gets in there with the Cataclysm, Kennen in there with the slicing, and then the command shockwave. I think that's just a really great synergy that we got going here for Tempest.
Well, unfortunately, Shen still has a good push comp. And you're right, you have the AoE hell comp coming out on the other side, and if they ever get that good Jarvan ultimate, guess what you're going to be standing in? You're going to be standing in the slicing Maelstrom. That's something that is one of the weirder things in the game to deal with, because unless you can get Kennen out of the fight with something like Janna's ultimate or Vayne's knockback, Condemn, if you can't do that, there's not really a way to deal with it, because if you can kill Kennen, that's fine. But aside from that, because the stuns are coming at different times for the entire team, it really just stagnates a team fight. Like, you can't coordinate anything because everybody's getting stunned, but never at the same time. If Annie stuns your team, what do? Just react. All right, we're all unstunned now. Let's kill someone. If you're all getting stunned every half second or so, someone planned what they were going to pick for, didn't they?
Oops.
I love that. Oh my god.
Yeah, don't ban somebody that's already been picked, please.
No.
You banned Ahri. I think he was just going to do AAA ban.
Yeah,
but,
going down the A's acceptance.
The reason that you swapped out is so you could take Ahri.
Clearly they want Shen.
Alright, third time the charm. Let's do it.
See if they can... Alright.
Just ban TSM and CLG. That's all you got to do.
The first part of being a challenger team, you got to be able to pick your champions in Champion Select.
There we go. AAA and the LLN. As you said, I think the double L's were the already bans, and they're just going to go right through this guys because they know what they want. But yeah, I mean, third game Caitlyn seems to be the counter a lot to, when you don't have first pick AD. It's just like, they saw Vayne? Alright, Nasus Caitlyn, cool. They saw Misfortune? Alright, Thresh Caitlyn, cool. They see Draven? Caitlyn, Nasus even this time, cool.
It's a safe pick, and safe picks, they go far. They may not be the most exciting picks. Like, Caitlyn's never going to be that character that will, wow you with her play, unlike a Draven catching axes, but she's reliable, and that goes far. But I'm just impressed that they banned out their own character still.
Yep. You saw it here first, MCS.
It's a good pick though, because if they do end up in standard lanes, Caitlyn can survive a Draven. You know, if there's a solid pick off, a solid engage coming out from the support Elise, Caitlyn should be out of range of that, and Thresh himself is very tanky. We haven't really talked about it, but the support Elise coming out for Team Tempest, and it's not super common, or at least it wasn't, but she just does so much raw damage without anything. That's always been her shtick. It's like you build her tanky because she does damage anyways, and now, well, guess what? Supports don't get items. She can still do damage. Awesome.
Yeah, we have been seeing a little bit of a rise. It's like when Fiddlesticks came to town. It's like, support Fiddlesticks, yeah, tanky jungle Fiddlesticks, yeah. You know, it's kind of just the reverse this round. Instead of the top or the jungle Elise, it's support Elise. And there has been debates ever since she was released, you know, where should she be? Should she be in solo lane? Should she be in a support? When Lulu came out, it was a very similar thing. You saw big guys like Crumbs just jungling Lulu, Guardsman Bob throwing top lane Lulu, but she has kind of just settled down into that support role. So yeah, the support Elise, as I said, you know, percentage damage, the neurotoxin, the cocoon could really set up some sweet ganks coming out from Anxiety, who's going to be on that Jarvan, which again, third game in a row, Jarvan's
a good character. It's one of those other safe picks. Like, you will always have an aggressive ganker that can set up team fights, or even set up risky disengages where Jarvan has to flash out if something goes south. There are always those safe characters, and those safe characters are going to be like the pillars of most teams, because there'll be that chance where it's like, I can pick something, but what if they counterpick it? And you really can't counterpick a Jarvan jungle. I do like X Hazard up in the Kennen role, heading up top lane. Kennen top lane has just become such a popular trend nowadays, and I love it, just because it's the electric yodel rat coming to tear faces. But how's it going to deal against a possible Jayce or even a 1v2 lane? And that's where I like to really see the Kennen in action, because there's different ways to play. Some people will go Doran's Blade even in 1v2 lanes, just because Blade completely stops those support's ability to harass. It's like, alright, you're going to hit me. I deal more damage because I have 80 runes. I have a Doran's Blade, so I heal up a tiny bit, and you're just getting crushed. So it's going to be interesting to see what X Hazard does to keep himself alive in lane if they really want a 2v1, because Jayce can survive a Kennen, but at the same time, both Kennen and Jayce, if they get that one sweet play or one great gank, can completely snowball a lane.
It's funny that, you know, I'm just looking through all the different runes and masteries, but X Hazard has a lot sunk into his offensive runes that has a lot to do with his AD. Plus he has physical damage and armor pen in his runes alongside all the magic, but he's also split into the defensive all the way down to the block, you know, get that champion damage down. And I was just looking around some of these others as well. Dream has some lifesteal bonus attached to him. Evasion has some lifesteal bonus. Draven some lifesteal bonus attached to all of that. So yeah, coming down, we're gonna have to see if they're gonna 2v1 swap. Game number 3 coming your way here, guys. Mobafire Esports Challenger Series Day 1, Week 1. Forgo Jester in studio. We'll be bringing you these games live in just a few minutes after a word from our sponsors. And with that being done, we are into the loading screen. Forgo Jester in studio here. MCS Week 1, Day 1. Tempest Gaming going up against the Wazabi. Don't know what happened to X Hazard, but hopefully he'll join the game and we'll get this rolling. What do you think of some of these summoner spells, Mr. Studio? I'm looking at Captain Zipblock. He does not have that flash. He does have Ghost.
Let's see, a ghost on Nasus. That used to be the old trend. You still see it every now and then. It's because Nasus doesn't really do burst damage. If you put Nasus in lane and he farms up his Q a ton, alright, you can do some pretty cool siphoning strike bursts. It's pretty sick. But just in standard jungle play, your goal is going to be getting a couple siphoning strikes off. The damage will never be that high. And sometimes you just want to kind of rush towards a carry and while getting attacked yourself, try and get those withers off on someone important. So it makes sense. It is riskier early on because if he gets ganked in the jungle and he needs a flash over a wall, well, Ghost doesn't go through walls, just units. They're not spooky enough to, I guess, get through the whole wall. But it's a neat pick. It works out. It can backfire horribly, and it's up to Team Tempest to really punish it early on if they do see a chance. But at the same time, it's Nasus jungle. You can't really invade him. He's usually at full HP.
And I guess X Hazard just automatically loaded the last 50. Nope, it's going to be a pause. That's alright, I'll leave that there. But with this pause, guys, you are watching the MCS. Check us out, mcsesports.com. You can check us out there on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as well. Because if you are following all that stuff, plus you're following this channel, you're going to be automatically put in for some prizes that you could win. We have some gear coming out from Fatality as well as Razor. $1,000 to give away to you guys, the loyal fans. So make sure you hit that follow button. I think we actually even has a subscribe button as well. So hey, no harm in that. Get yourself that shiny icon. No ads from that pesky ad block that you have to deal with. And I'm looking for your casting card. I can't find it.
All good. And I believe a subscriber should be getting a few more features in the future. The star is nice, but let's see if we can't spruce that little star up and get a real subscriber emoticon. And as for the lanes, well, actually as for the level 1, both teams have a lot of potential level 1. Elise will always be a good level 1 character. Thresh is the same deal, especially with Ahri to back that up, actually. So looking over at Wazabi, they can really just kill a guy. If you are a guy and you are on Team Tempest, you gotta be very, very careful right now. Side note, they can do the same thing, though, with an Elise stun. And possibly a follow-up of just attack speed from Jarvan, and maybe a stand-aside.
Yeah, if we have that stand aside level 1, unfortunately we do have the spinning axe, so not to crush your dreams, Mr. Studio, but
it's a lot more damage, a little less CC.
Now we do have both teams just kind of converging together. We did have our Wasabi just kind of spread out at one point. They did throw down a whole bunch of wards, and this ward will catch out Team Tempest as they are invaded. That's going to be the death sentence onto Baby Zeus, but Prophet is going to go right in. He's really raring to go for these level 1s. X Hazard is going to get dropped down to half, but again, power of the wards, you can do those kind of things, especially with Thresh. Good old days of Blitzcrank invades, just catch them unawares, and that's going to defeat any kind of level 1 that we had planned. X Hazard is likely just going to go back off and heal. Yeah, he is, but I don't see the ADCs kind of going in opposite directions, so very likely not seeing those swaps.
Prophet just manly as all hell. That was incredibly risky, kind of stupid to go in for that early hook, but like it was brave, and it's those brave plays that you really have to kind of like learn how to balance out. His team wasn't there to back him up, but maybe next time, the next level 1, they'll be a little bit more grouped up, a little bit more together, and that early hook will be an early first blood. Still, the good reactions from both teams. Prophet really just it's brave, man. But Prophet did get some CC off, did scare them out of the jungle. The ward put down by a Team Tempest isn't that really cool by the Wraith ward. They cannot track Captain Ziploc when he does do the Wraiths.
Yeah, if they get lucky, they might be able to see some particle effects, but that's about it. Oh no! Oh no! Nerf! He got the blue from his dot! That's gonna hurt.
Unfortunately, Draven's new passive isn't quite in the game yet, so that's gonna be rough. That's gonna be a very, very annoying level 1, level 2 over on the side of Wazabi Gaming, because Draven with blue buff, he can spam his spells a bit more, but he doesn't have anything to spam, so yeah, that's just axes, a few more spinning axes. He can drop axes and he won't lose mana now, but that is the worst that could have got. Anxiety lull. Let's see, he is going to be level 2 relatively soon, so at least he got half the experience, but that is going to be devastating. He's not in a good position now. This is a terrible start for Wazabi, and they know it too. That's the thing. Yep. Wazabi knows it, what's going on. They saw the blue buff, they see it now, and they know they can really punish Jarvan.
Yeah, we have to see what exactly does come out of that one. So yeah, Nerfy is just going to be full mana, no problem. Jarvan, as you said, it's going to be a little bit behind. We'll have to see what the reactions will be. But at the same time, I know you always want to go for those smiteless, but there are situations that come up every now and then, like this one, where maybe you just wish you had smited it.
Well, it's the Draven Q, Twitch's Poison, those occasional auto attack enhancers that leave a dot effect. Malzahar's Malicious Vision can do it as well, or whatever his bouncing dot is. Not enough Malzahar to play, but you have to be very cautious with those, and even time your last hits, which a lot of people get caught off guard with. Nasus is looking for a gank on the mid lane, though.
Yeah, but there is a ward, so we are going to be very aware of it. Jarvan's right there as well. If he could somehow kill out Nasus, we would solve the buff issue, but they're just going to go their separate ways. Nasus should just go back to farming at this point. I don't think Jarvan really has any other option at this point. He just needs to basically just try to keep up that CS, because without that blue, he can't spam out those spells, and by the time he's going to get to a lane, he's not going to really have that much mana or hit points if you look at him right now, so he's going to have to be on the back foot for a while. Not going to see anything kind of big and crazy for him for a bit.
I have to say, though, TT Nerf doing a great job, especially with Devasion as well, applying pressure with the Draven blue buff. It's not the most, I'd say, particular event you want to be in, but they're still applying a lot of pressure. Draven's staying very far forward. He's always going to have an axe available because of the lower cooldown. He's always going to have stand aside available because mana is no longer an issue. So they're playing a little bit more all in, playing a little bit more forward, and it's paying off with a small CS lead. It's only 5 CS. It was 6 CS earlier at the tower. But they're getting something out of it, and that's what matters, that they're at least making something out of what is a less optimal situation.
So we'll have to see if Captain Ziploc is going to come to town. We don't have a ward here in the try. We do have one in the river. So if he comes down and around, but no, Captain Ziploc just going to go back the other way. Blue has now actually faded off of nerf, so that extra help for the last hitting will go away for now. But he's still juggling those axes fairly well. Devasion just throwing out a little bit of poke out, and that's going to be forcing out some of these lanterns from Prophets. So again, just mana expenditures at this point. Don't really see anyone in kind of a position to go aggressive on any of our lanes.
Jarvan is looking at the bot lane. There's a ward down, but not in the bush he's in. This was the advantage of the early pushing. It set up a really nice gank opportunity. If Anxiety Lol can get this kill, if he can get something done in this lane, that'll make up for the early blue buff loss in terms of experience. They're looking for it now.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the cocoon. That's going to be the stand aside, but Anxiety Low just too far. Could not get in there quick enough, so it's not going to be any kind of jump there. But still, they chunked her down under half hit points. Nothing here, like with in the face of 3-man aggression. They're just going to have to back on off out of this one, try to farm up with that Q. We also got Nasus now just camping up this top, but it looks like he's going to be heading back to town. And mid lane, we also had Zamfira head on back. She's got herself a nice new Dorn's ring to go with the Boots of Speed.
I'm just focusing on the bot lane because that's where all the action kind of got compounded. They're doing a great job. Nerf is still applying the pressure. He had the early level advantage. And that gank, they didn't get a kill. They applied pressure though. Caitlyn now at half HP. If she's ever hit by a Elise stun, she probably won't die. She can probably blow barrier and survive, but still, that's a summoner going down. And they just don't want to be in this back foot position. They're constantly on the defensive. Nasus can try and gank, but stand aside, and Elise's stun is going to make that very difficult. So now they're dependent on Caitlyn just getting last hits very passively, and if Nasus does show up, they need to land a death sentence, which you never want to rely on 100%.
Yeah, when you do get these jungle ganks out, if you can get a kill, great, that is the ultimate. But if you can get summoners, it's just as good. We didn't get any of that. All we did was chunk down Caitlyn a little bit. But with that Dorn's Blade and her last hitting skill, she's come back almost up to full hit points. So almost no worse for wear in that regard. Zamfira now has to deal with this Anxiety Low in the mid, but we do got Nasus there as well. So that's going to be pushing up. So they're going to push up this mid. Are they going to come bottom for a 4-man?
Possibility. The ward coverage does cover the tri-bush on the blue side entrance, but nothing in the river. Jarvan will be returning to the jungle though. Blue buff is about a respawn for him. He can hand it off to Baby Zeus or pick that up for himself for the first time. It looks like Lander is trying to, play a little bit more passively, try and go for more of the outplay factor. It's hard to really land a gank anywhere. Like, you can't gank Arya's Jarvan because the charm is hard to deal with, and now Arya has her ult. You can't really gank Jayce or Kennen as either because they have really good move speed skills in bot lane. It's had the ward coverage, so the junglers can't make too much of an impression. So it's pretty much lane versus lane. Show me your skills, show me your might.
Siphoning Strike is up to 66 extra damage from that. So that's the good news of all this farming for Nasus. He's able to get that Q up, that Siphoning Strike spam, as he said, late game can really bring a lot of pain to some of those situations. But it is going to be the blue buff handed off to Baby Zeus, who's right here. And so he's got to be very thankful for that. We don't have the blue quite yet here from Zamfira, but we do got the red now just picked up there by Ziploc. So they should be able to transfer that off momentarily.
Jarvan is looking for a gank in the bot lane. They're finally pushed out towards the other side of the map. Sun on another thing here. Can they get this?
going to be the flash in, the flag and drag, the repel is going to come in as well. Evasion looking for those auto attacks. That's going to be the flash. That's going to be the barrier. Nothing here under the tower. Great death sentence, but it will not defeat that ranged Q coming out from Anxiety. TT nerf, one more turret attack might have been able to take him down, but they juggled that tower extremely well, and Prophet's just kind of sitting there all by himself. Now he has to deal with this 3-on-1 situation with his lane pushing out, which means he's not going to get too much out of this.
Death sentence was, I don't want to call it unfortunate, but you have to ask the question whether they're going to continue with that dive, because Anxiety low, he got pulled in by the death sentence, was still in range. Hazard though, a little bit of danger, takes a little bit of poke damage, still has the electrical surge to escape though. But that is, I'd say, the perfect combination of both Draven and Jarvan. They both have ways to interrupt Caitlyn's caliber net. They both have ways to really punish her for trying to escape. Her movement is not efficient against them. That's a really solid gank, and I really like that pressure coming out towards bot, because if Draven can snowball, it's going to be terrifying. Top is looking pretty dead though.
Yeah, we have seen time and time again. Top is taking a lot of damage. Xhazard is not left lane, but he hasn't really been able to do much in order to kind of defeat this push, because they did see Jarvan bottom lane, and of course he was low. They knew they wasn't going to go anywhere else. Captain Ziploc made a good opportunity to come top, push it down, but now they might be visited into a 3-on-1 situation, but Xhazard is so low, I don't know if you can actually commit to this.
Good roam though coming out from Elise. They're looking for some CC, but they cannot fully commit to the fight. Fortunately, Elise could not get the stun off. Actually, Charmin, a baby that was hit by the tower. The ignites go awful. Either go down.
Yeah, I don't think so. Looking at her, 113 hit points there on Ari. She survives. Baby Zeus is a little bit healthier at 288, but that was both ults going down as well. The Shockwave as well as the Spirit Rush. And just aggression across the board. We're looking for some of these kills. We're looking for some of these gold infusions. These guys were watching the previous games. They're like, 10 minutes in, we got to get 6 towers just to keep up with everyone else. But, you know, this is just definitely a little bit more of a laid-back game. There have been, you know, mistakes made on both sides. Nerf, however, going to use that stand aside, get off some Qs. But that's going to be their turn ace. And Nerf, I don't think he can do anything else down here.
I mean, he does not have any real life still. He has a Doran's Blade. He might have some runes. Actually, I can check that right now. Yeah, he does have some lifesteal runes, so you'll get a little bit back, but he's going to need some pressure coming out from Elise, or it's just going to be a dead Draven in a little bit. Still, though, really nice ultimate, really nice pressure. The Caliber net, you can actually activate her Q, Caitlyn's, God, I can't remember the name of it, Caitlyn's Peacemaker, as you do the retreat, and then launch that without really wasting any time auto-attacking or missing damage. So nice little combination. When the full combo lands, it's quite a bit of damage. Followed up with the ultimate. It's nice pressure, nice burst. Never really a full kill, but it's a good way to control the lane. Draven, though, already back to full HP. The lifesteal Quint's doing work, as Elise was able to keep him alive by the tower as he last hit.
Yeah, he has 6% from his runes, plus the Doran Blade, plus, you know, just the massive damage coming out from his BF sword at the 10-minute mark. So it looks like he's going to be okay. He did chug out a few of the potions, so he doesn't have any more of those. Baby Zeus, however, comes back to lane with an Athene's Unholy Grail, but we might see, you know, fight number 2 in this bot lane. Anxiety going through the river is going to get spotted out, so they know that he's on the way. Flash going out from Devasion as Captain Ziploc comes in straight into the cocoon, and unfortunately that will deny them that. Top lane Dream, he's going to go real low. Xhazard has a burning on top of him from that ignite, the health potions to counter that. Both of our top laners extremely low. Are they actually going to go in?
Look for the snipe. Dream can do it.
Oh, he gets
it! Beautiful! Xhazard, be a little too brave, could not stay in the lane, could not survive that shock blast acceleration gate combo, and pays for it with his life. Still a small gold lead in favor of Team Tempest, but still, you gotta love the snipes. You gotta love the snipes.
Now, we did just have a little bit of a shockwave go down in the mid, as Ari not looking so good, but Zamfira does have the Spirit Rush available, might make a clutch play. Going to keep an eye on that. Bottom lane, however, is still these tri-lanes that we've been seeing in, time and time again in these games. 3 games today, and 3 times our junglers have almost perma-camped a lane. And bottom, or at least the lane with the ADC support, you know, seems to be the big favorite one. I almost don't want to call these guys ADCs anymore. I just want to call them the tower pushing squad.
Well, this isn't Team Tower Dive TV, unfortunately. Actually going for nothing here right now. Anxiety Low looking for the fight. Does get the dunk on. Nothing here, though. Kind of catching out Anxiety Low. The Thresh knockback doing work. Nothing here. Can he stay alive, though? Elise, will she get it? No, the Ignite. Will it tick down? Caitlyn, does she survive with no HP? Does not get the snipe. Trying to chase a Jarvan. Can you get it? Big Dog taking a kill. TT nerf. Can you escape? You will walk under the turret with your life, but losing 2 comrades in the field of battle.
crazy clutch plays. Nothing here getting out of that. The skin of her teeth. Use the barrier, use the net. I don't think she actually had the flash up, so almost curtains from him. Devasion went extremely ham on top of her. Up with the repel, the ignite going down as well, but just couldn't grab it, so can't counter gank. Really good mechanics come out in the bottom lane. 3-2 now as Wazabi takes a little bit of a gold lead. Only 500 between these teams at the 13-minute mark. Definitely making this our most passive games, and look at this. Nothing here is going to grab that red for bottom lane shenanigans.
Alright, so this is a small big moment right now where both supports have just picked up Ruby Sight Stun. And I love pointing that out because this is when the map control is going to start being a bigger deal. This is when vision wards will pay off in spades. You'll notice that Elise has her own vision wards, Thresh has his own vision wards. This is going to be the support battle of map coverage. It's harder to spot, but it's always fun to point out when it's about to begin, because now this is when it's going to start kicking into shape. Like a ward just got planted onto Dragon by Thresh, but Prophet's ward will not survive for very long. The vision should be going down soon. There it goes. And now the map control battle has started, as well as the battle for Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly know that the Dragon's going down. Nobody else there on the map, and they did just get that word out tonight. Unfortunately, the response is just not going to be in time here from Wazabi, and they give up that gold pretty much free of charge. There was no contention there whatsoever, and we did lose out 2 wards out of Prophet's cash. So that's, a little bit of extra gold just adding on top of that Dragon, going the way of Team Tempest. And 3-2, again, gold pretty much neck and neck.
50 extra gold, and right now, Prophet only has 1 more left. 3 men, though, hanging by that bot turret. Jarvan's just waiting for this. I really love this focus on the bot lane, because Jarvan has such a good way to stop Caitlyn's net. Draven has the same thing. They have just great ways to really contain a Caitlyn, and that's what makes her so safe in lane. The caliber net is always a good disengage, except this time, except when you have knock-up effects or just anything that will interrupt movement, similar to Tristana jump. X-Hazard, though, getting some free time in the top lane, going to be taking out the golems while Jayce has a chance to roam around mid. If Jayce can make something happen, then those golems in the farm will, not be worth it for Hazard. But if the plays don't happen, if they don't take a tower or kill Baby Zeus, then, well, this is a chance for Hazard to get closer and closer to that Zhonya's.
When did that tower go down?
Top turret after the kill onto Hazard. It was mostly creeps that killed it.
Okay. Yeah, that's why. All right. So, yeah, good times. I was trying to figure out where that extra global gold was coming to balance out these teams, because they got a Dragon, and I kind of expected the gold difference to go really, towards Tempest, but sadly not. So that explains that. Good times. We had the charm in the mid here, but unfortunately nothing did come out of it. But still, with this Jayce, as you said, X-Hazard top, Jayce making plays mid. This is going to be a lot of pressure on this mid, and it is dropping extremely quick.
Hazard is coming in from the side, though. Can he get the fight started? Anxiety is just eliminated. It's a beautiful Oriana ultimate. They cannot follow up. Anxiety low just gone.
Yep.
He evaporated. He's no longer in the game. That's I don't want to say he died. He's just disappeared at this point. As the damage is way too high.
To borrow a word from Riot Quickshot, he was deleted out of this game. But that's going to be the mid tower on top of things, so dropping a kill, dropping that tower, that's going to be a good gold boost now coming up. Nothing here in Prophet, however, haven't left his bot lane. If you notice, Elise has gone wandering around a few times, but despite that, the farm still pretty much neck and neck here. Nerf as well as nothing here, essentially tied. And again, those axes coming out, Draven is one-shotting those caster minions.
I mean, Draven damage always really picks up after he gets the Bloodthirster and fills it up. Right now, it's 197 base for an auto attack, then an extra 167, so 350 damage per auto attack. And that's not factoring in any crit, that's not factoring in anything else that will eventually boost up that damage. Caitlyn, on the other hand, she's doing 176, doesn't have the Bloodthirster finished. Can't really compare in the damage, but I believe she has a lot of gold stocked up. Yeah, 1,600 gold stocked up. She can finish the Bloodthirster as soon as she wants to, but has to head back to base. And the problem is the tower is just going to be at risk now.
Yeah, because they're pushing in so hard with those one-shots of the caster minions and then just cleaning up the purple minions in the front. Yeah, it's going to be this continuous pressure, and that kind of puts you in a bind, right? You either have to get someone down here to cover it, or you got to try to make a play. Otherwise, if you leave, you're just going to be giving it up. So that's why she has so much gold banked up. And now with this counter, we got 4 team members of Wazabi down here. Draven, however, is going to say no thank you. Throws down the Whirling Death, is able to clean up all those creeps, and now the towers are landing a few free shots on top of Zamfira. And I don't think this will be a fight, but look at Jayce coming in from the side.
He's ready for it. Kennen's going to come in as well, though, so if X-Hazard does show up...
That was an Oriana ult for nothing.
Ooh. That's incredibly important now, because if they do land a Jarvan ultimate, they only have Kennen to follow up. That tower will go down. Splash from Prophet does land the hook.
Yeah, Baby Zeus is going to be the target. He flashes back out. There goes the Cataclysm. Here comes the Kennen looking for the Wombo combo. I Dream, however, goes on a killing spree. Jarvan does not live whatsoever. We did not take down that Oriana. Nerf now here as well. The only healthy member of Team Tempest trying to put up that brave face in the front. But I Dream gets real low. Ziploc low as well. And it looks like they're just going to go look and see if they can actually pick up Jayce. But wisely, he does go the other way. So again, tower and kills going the way of Wazabi. So far, they've taken, I don't want to say a commanding lead, but they have made a lead for sure here at the 18-minute mark.
It's like the start of a race. You see that flag wave, that is a command to go, and with the Oriana ultimate down, Baby Zeus just was not going to contribute enough to a fight, which really let that aggressive play. And of course, a great hook from Prophet. That's a flash hook. Those things are not easy to land. Thresh's hook is pretty slow. The flash is also a great indicator of what's about to come towards you. So, great hook, great positioning coming out from Tempest, or from Wazabi. And Tempest, unfortunately, it was a misplay, and those misplays are costly, especially if the other team can punish it. Like, you have that Oriana ultimate down. What does she do right now? She doesn't have that much damage. She does have the large rod now, just picked up, and she can really output a lot now. But in that last fight, when Oriana only has one item, when she only has Athene's Holy Grail, her output is fairly minimal. It's good, it's still there, but you need to get the full burst combo off.
Yeah, and with those costly mistakes, especially something as big as an ultimate. I mean, it's not really too much of a surprise that they weren't able to grab that kill because they were missing that vital tool. And their team comp is really set up to use those tools in tandem, which is unfortunate that it just didn't work out. But again, great job out of iDream to avoid that and then come back in, grab those kills. He has himself that tier brutalizer and the last whisper at the almost 20-minute mark. And I have been impressed before. Let's see, he's at 600 mana on his tier. We might be seeing about a 21-minute Mura mana if he goes back to finish that up. And at the 20-minute mark, having that big, insane burst damage that can come out of Jayce, it's going to get extremely hard to kind of set up these fights if he can catch out someone.
Oh, someone's being caught out as TT Nerf. You're not going to be living for very much longer. The damage just a bit too high. No barrier burn, no flash fuse, nothing keeping him alive there. That's an important pickup because Dragon has just respawned. Captain Ziploc going to be taking the reins on this one. And it's a free kill, a free Dragon. They did not have the river covered. They did not have that bush covered, and Nerf just a bit too close. Now, here's, I'd say, the scary thing for Wazabi. They have a tanky Nasus, and that's when you only have one tanky character, because Thresh, alright, he'll get kind of tanky, but he'll always be a support. But Nasus, he would only be the only tanky character on the team, and he's reached that point. It's hard for him to get taken down. And because of that, there's now that big major threat that they're going to have to deal with over on Tempest, and actually lots of damage going out from Draven. Will it go down?
Devasion forced up with that repel, but the Jarvan ultimate comes in. That's going to be the Whirling Death, going for the double on top of Captain Ziploc, but he's still alive. The Fury of the Sands are strong with this one. Great charm coming out there from Zephyr as well. Can it be over the wall? The Flagon Drake not quite there, but Anxiety, he's going to get withered. There's the Spirit Fire, looking for maybe a little bit of lifesteal. Devasion also in pursuit. But yeah, I think they're going to give it up from here. Devasion's going to go up maybe with the repel. Nope, thinks better of it. So, didn't quite work out from that time. The kill going the way of Tempest. But, oh, that's going to be the Caitlyn ace!
If only you had that repel still available. Having just shipped out a spider form, had not come up quite yet. Great snap coming out from nothing here. As now X has it trying to pressure off iDream. There is a Draven to back him up, though. However, any bit of CC can very easily lead to a burst kill because iDream and Ari combined, that is insane burst damage. As Captain Ziploc going to casually farm at the bot tower. Say, hey, Jarvan, you tried. I got your Elise in response. It's okay. It's okay. You can go ahead and watch me farm. Just cheer yourself up. This is getting kind of nasty, though. 7-3. The pickoffs are just there for Wazabi Gaming, and I'm loving these pickups. I mean, random Caitlyn holds out of nowhere to pick up the Elise kill from the Nasus that almost, like, that Nasus had no HP. As far as I'm concerned, the Nasus was dead. But he made it out with nothing.
I was about to write him off myself, but something you learn in casting, never say never. Because that way you don't have to backtrack. But 7-3 at this point, 22 minutes in. As soon as Jayce goes home, there you go. He's finally going to go get that. There's the Mira Mana. He had basically the cash at the 21-minute mark. He just needed to farm out that extra creep wave. So a little bit of delay, but he will have that Mira Mana available with all that armor penetration. And as soon as he takes that Brutalizer to the next level. I mean, it's just going to be insane the amount of burst that he can bring to these team fights. 7-3, 4,000 gold difference at the 22-minute mark. Baby Zeus, as he said, does have that needlessly large, hasn't really been able to put anything else to it, doesn't really have any cash under his belt either. And if you look back and forth, some of the gold differences between our lanes are pretty staggering. Believe it or not, though, Oriana has actually come out ahead of her mid.
Whoa, she has? Let's go ahead and check out these numbers.
Check out the creep difference.
Oh, that's a CS score coming into play, and Baby Zeus is a very solid farmer, so it really is keeping him relevant. So they're behind by 4,000 gold, and 4,000 gold is quite a bit. However, if you look over at Team Tempest, they have an AoE comp. Jarvan ultimate can land, Kennen ultimate can land. Even Draven provides quite a bit of AoE. So if they can get their full combo with, Oriana, Jarvan, Kennen, all into one group, if they can get, maybe not the perfect 5-man, but 4 to 3 minimum, then they have a good chance to still very quickly win a fight. However, there's going to be that one point where if the AoE comp falls too far behind, they can't win an AoE fight, and at that point, the team is just done for. When that happens, the team, well, they can just fight them anywhere, and they'll win unless they do something crazy like a 1v5. So they still have that AoE potential, but they got to start doing stuff now. They can't keep giving up this ground. The AoE is just going to start falling off, and eventually just actually a runic bulwark could crush their damage.
We don't have anyone even close to the Aegis at this point there from Tempest. We do have the Aegis the emblem ready to go for Captain Ziploc, so I think he's actually going to be the one to get there just that much quicker. Something that I have been watching, Prophet has been rolling around with that Oracles, and if you look at the map, he has countered a lot of the different wards out there, and this ward, okay, that one fairly dead, but new ward there, ward here in the mid, we got new ward just here in the jungle. It's forcing a lot of the map pressure that against Team Tempest, and as you can tell, I mean, they're virtually just confined to their base and their next row of towers. They are very afraid to kind of go out past that if they don't have vision on top of Wazabi, and a lot of that has to do with getting your monies back here with the Oracles.
If they try and invade into their own jungle, there's so many different things that can kill them. A Nasus slow, a Jayce anything, even a Caitlyn trap. Imagine dying to a Caitlyn trap at the 24-minute. It happens, and if they get hit by one, the follow-up CC will be devastating. So, I mean, right now there just isn't a whole lot they can do. They can still try and go for that perfect AoE fight. But this is what I mentioned earlier. With this push, if Nasus lays on the Spiritfire, if iDream lands Acceleration Gate Shock Blast combos, on anybody but Nerf can actually take the damage because of his lifesteal. But it's just going to be hard for them to come back from this because they're going to get poked down and they can't fight if they're too low. Yep. Like Elise right now, half HP, not going to heal that back up.
Yeah, a little bit of a poke mentality coming out with those hyper acceleration shots. Piltovers. Jarvan, however, is going to go, and he has the ball. That's the Cataclysm. Where's the Kennen? Here he goes. Flashes in with the slicing Maelstrom, but nothing here. Just absolutely melts down that Jarvan, and that's going to be the second death as Kennen has nothing else. He flashed in. He used everything, and Baby Zeus going to get caught out there. That should be the Caitlyn. Yes, the ace is going to be down and out. 4 kills, as that was a snipe from the back. That Jayce, man.
Something here.
There goes the tower, very likely the next. Not entirely too sure about an inhibitor at this point, but hey, everyone's low. They exchanged 4 for 1 on that engage, but Wazabi cannot be disappointed in that team fight.
They lost to Thresh, and I'm sorry, Prophet. It's sad to see you go down this fight, but hey, it was worth it. He zoned them out for a brief sec. He took the brunt of the damage. And even if Prophet all he did was, in the end, just take stacks of Kennen's ultimate, that's enough. That was enough to keep people alive. So they survived the AoE damage, which is just going to be devastating now, because Team Tempest, they've fallen farther behind. Their damage has not gone up at all, really. And now, guess what? Everybody over on Team Wazabi are going to be tankier. They're going to have more damage. They're going to be able to deal with it even better. The flashes have been burned. There's very little that Team Tempest can do now, unless they start getting a really good pick off in their own jungle. It's got to be 2v5s. It's got to be that person who wanders in, assuming something is safe, but it turns out that was the random bush of death they walked into. Because if not, they're not going to win a team fight. They cannot do much with this push right here.
Devasion in the back. If you check out Devasion, he just finally got that Haunting Guise, but I'm looking at Baby Zeus. I mean, We've been looking at this Nisi large for a while, but Blasting Wand, is just not there for that Rabadon's quite yet, and 7,000 gold difference is really to blame at this point. Now, I wasn't too sure if they're actually going to get that inhibitor in the bot lane, but then again, you cannot discount the damage that is going to be combined out of iDream as well as nothing here. Those two ADCs at this point, I mean, they're just putting out such massive auto attack hits that, as you said, I think earlier, these towers just don't exist, and going later and later into this game, they're just going to die faster and faster.
The fight's breaking out now. Anxiety Low trying to do something. iDream actually caught out, does get CC'd. It's a 1-for-1 so far. The AoE does come out. X-Hazard trying to get the fight down. Captain Ziploc does survive. Can he escape though? The Draven damage a bit too much as Draven does get chunked down. Baby Zeus can be cleaned up, and guess what? The Zephyra Pain Train will be finishing up X-Hazard as the Caitlyn ultimate is put on cooldown. A nice little death sentence right there. The second that Zhonya's ended, already caught up, already CC'd. And they can't play those spread up fights. They got really good pickoffs early on. They'll always be able to get those really good initial pickoffs, but never anything concrete. They can never take out the entire enemy team. X-Hazard still not even level 16. And that's so important for a Kennen because his ultimate increases in both damage and utility as it gets more and more strikes in it. It can hit up to 15 times.
The only person even 16 or higher at this point is iDream, so he's the only one with that level 3. Oh, never mind, he doesn't have an ult. But yeah, we don't have those level 3 ults quite yet, and at 28 minutes into the game, that extra tier of damage, just not there. But 16-6 again, I mean, second ace in a row. Wazabi, all they got to do is just push one more fight, and that should be able to end this game. We finally did see a death on top of iDream, but I guess he didn't like it, because he has a Guardian Angel now.
That's the one problem with Jayce. He is low range with his auto attacks. 500 is not a huge range for an AD carry, and now it's not really a problem because if they kill him, he'll be back, and he does incredibly high damage, and so do the rest of his team. So when he dies and pops back up, chances are his team will have won the fight by then. They can't rush a Baron. That's the one thing they can't do. They can't just do a Baron, and if Team Tempest shows up to fight, they can't just slap fight around the Baron pit and win the fight, because Baron does amplify the magic damage you take. So the AoE, it's not enough right now, but in a Baron pit, it's a completely different story, as it's quite a great damage amplification. Don't have the exact numbers, but it's big. So they can't go for the Baron. They can do it very quickly, though, if they ever see a chance. And, they could probably just push down the mid inhibitor, pressure top, and if they ever see a chance with big waves pushing bot and mid, just grab the Baron anyways.
Well, Kennen's still top. Elise just coming back to town. We can't do the Wombo combo without that Kennen. We do got the Shockwave ready to go. Draven just going to be getting off some of those auto attacks. The Flagging Drake now down, so Anxiety cannot chase this. But yeah, these few little missteps have just not been working out at all for Team Tempest. I mean, even from the beginning of this game, we've been marred by these little mistakes. Blue buff going off to Draven. Not that great of positioning for some of these team fights. X-Hazard not in town, can't defend the inhibitor. And, if this does keep going up, they're going to lose all their map control, then it will be a Baron, and then, it's just what else can you do except wait for the death timer.
The death timer has gotten quite long, too long enough definitely for that top inhibitor to be taken out very, very quickly. You look over at Team Wazabi now, they're just grouped up, now they're waiting. They know they can probably win an AoE fight, not in the Baron pit. They know they can just kind of do their thing. If they get too crazy, they'll probably go down and lose a fight for sure, if they get the 5-man ultimate, for example. But as long as they stay grouped up or spread out, shouldn't be happening.
They're try.
A lot of damage coming out. Ultimate coming out from X-Hazard, though he can't really make it in. Flashes forward, it goes down before the Zhonya does anything. They got the initiation off, they got the CC up, but nothing came from it. They could not get the Yordle in position. Anxiety Low now just about dead. Elise does get hit by a charm. Elise will actually, get her lovey-dovey eyes out of there as the top turret does go down. TT Nerf looking to apply some DPS, looking to do something here, but that inhibitor is being looked at, is being destroyed, and well, the bottom one just respawned, but I'll trade a bot inhib for a top inhib, as they're just going to clean up this base now. They may not be able to finish, but this is looking pretty bad. Elise, once again, does get charmed, does get destroyed. Oh my god, that shock blast with the Nasus armor reduction. Minus 40 armor gone like that. There goes your spider.
Yeah, poor spiders. Everyone just hitting them with the newspapers today. But triple inhibs down, 31 minutes in. Triple the kills on top of things, and 12,000 gold lead. Wazabi is looking extremely strong to end this game in the next few moments. That being said, I mean, we still have this one ward at Baron, and we have been seeing, these situations in the LCS where it's just like you're so far ahead, and then all of a sudden you try for a Baron, you throw it, we're going to have to see if we fall into the same trap here. And if we don't, I don't think there's really too much Tempest can do at this point.
At this point, it is really Wazabi's game to lose. They have the control. Tempest does have a comp that can come back from maybe a 5,000 gold advantage, maybe that, maybe 8,000, but 12,000, 11,000. I mean, look at Caitlyn's item build. She's going to have Infinity Edge, Phantom Dance, her Last Whisper. She has a damage. She might have Quicksilver Sash as well fairly soon to get rid of that CC coming out from Kennen, and they don't really have anything else besides that. Elise does put a ward down. Can they finish off this Baron? This is their last chance. They don't have Kennen ultimate up. They can't fight this. They can't do anything here, but they don't know that.
The Kennen ult is like a sliver. It's about to come forth, and then maybe. There we go.
Well, Draven's not there, but they do scare them off the Baron. 4,000 HP left on the X Hazard, though, in quite a bit of danger. Does get knocked back, though, as he kind of goes back and forward in place for a sec. Captain Ziklov with the Ghost does get a great wither off as an Oriana ultimate stops that pressure. But you know what? You cannot stop the Nasus train. Ahri does take down X Hazard. Kennen, rest in peace. You lived a good life. You're a great Yordle, at least in my heart, as the game now, it looks like the end here. There's 4 up. They don't have the devastating Kennen ultimate. Look at all the super creeps. Look at all the damage. Jarvan does go in there. Captain Ziploc taken low. Elise uses Repel, surviving for a brief second. Ziploc takes the tower. Will he survive? Does go down as Anxiety Low trays his life. The Nexus now being looked at, just being whomped on by super creeps as the damage and poke forces back the rest of Team Tempest into their fountain. And the game does end with a fabulous win coming out for Wazabi.
And there might not be a Tarek, but it was definitely a fabulous win. 20-7. And at the end of it, 13,000 gold. As you said, you know, X Hazard didn't have that ult. They finally got up. The positioning wasn't there. Nerf wasn't there. He was off defending the base because everyone was out at that Baron. And yeah, sure, the Baron didn't die, but the bait worked. They got X Hazard, and it was basically GG after that. X Hazard, however, I mean, he had his ult up. He had his Zonias. Just didn't bother with it at that point. He's just kind of, well, yeah, jungles suck. And that's the way it went. So game number 3 done tonight. We still got more for you guys coming your way here, so don't go anywhere. We are here with the MCS Esport Leagues, Forgo Jester, and the League of Studio. We'll put up some music, see some words from our sponsors, but we're going to come right back with game